Okay, greetings students. So in today's lecture, we will be dealing with problems. Okay, so we will be dealing with the problems oriented to your unsymmetrical fault analysis. So as I said in the previous lecture, these problems are very simple for your calculation, and they are really time saving in your exam point of view. So if you're opting for this problem, you have to get through only two main criterias. They'll be asking you to find for only two main criterias. The first primary thing is your it's all about your fault current, or they might be mentioning it as subtransient current. So we have also already talked about the subtransient current in the previous unit. In unit 4 itself, we have discussed about this subtransient current. And the secondary part, they might be asking with respect to your voltage. So what happens when the fault occurs? What happens to the voltage? Mainly they will be sticking on with your line to line voltage. Okay, so moving on, we'll be dealing with the first primary problem related to your line to ground fault. So this lecture will be dealing with this particular problem, that is your line to ground fault. Okay, so what they have given the problem, we have to first see through it. So they have given us alien pole generator, so which is nothing but a normal generator, what they will be using at the power plants. So this generator is normally rated at power rating of base power of 20 MVA. So it is rated at 20 MVA. So and then voltage, it is generating up to 13.8 kV, and this has a subtransient reactance. So here what refers to the subtransient reactance? So this is the reactance which is attached towards your generator unit. Mainly, particularly, you can consider this particular parameter to be your positive sequence reactance, that is your Z1. Okay, so this will be always given with respect to your generator. So when you are coming with respect to the sequence network diagram, you will be able to understand it very clearly. I'll be showing it. And after that, what they have given is they have given out your negative and zero sequence reactances. So they are particularly, the negative is around 0.35 per unit, and then the zero sequence is around 0.1 per unit. And finally, they have given the neutral is grounded. Okay, the neutral point is grounded, and then they have asked to find your subtransient current. Okay, they have asked to find the subtransient current, which is nothing but a fault current. Okay, they have asked to find the fault current at the generator side. Okay, so here this you have to be very clear with the side also, where they have been asking to find your fault current. You have to be very clear to it. Okay, whether at the generator or whether at the load side. So based upon that only, you have to see through the equations. Okay, and after that, they have asked to find your line to line voltages. What will be the line to line voltage during the fault condition? They are asking. During the fault condition, what will be your line to line voltage? They have been asking. And finally, only they are giving out the type of fault. So here, the type of fault they are specifying is a single line to ground fault, which is nothing but L to G fault. So, which is a basic fault which is occurring, and using this, they have asked to find these two parameters. First is your line for fault current, and then your line to line voltages. So now we'll be moving towards the solution. I hope you are clear with the problem and what is the problem statement they are giving out. Okay. And coming to the solution part, so first you have to define your generator base values. That is nothing but your given values. From the given values, you have to determine it, the generator base values. So this is given already. So they have given your base MVA to be around 20 MVA, and then the line voltage, base line voltage is around 13.8 kV. So these two values are given in the problem statement, and from this we have to go through with respect to your base current. So what is the necessity for finding a base current? In the sense, it is the particular thing we'll be multiplying it after getting the fault current. So the fault current, what we'll be finding out will be in the per unit value. Okay, it will be in the per unit value. So after finding the per unit value, in order to get the actual value, what you will be doing is you will be multiplying this base current value with respect to your per unit fault current value. Okay, we're coming with that step. I'll be explaining it. So first, for finding the base current, what we'll be doing is, this is a formula that you already know in the first unit itself. We have seen through it. So this is the thing, that is we have to express your apparent power in terms of your kVA. So but they have given the MVA, so we'll be converting this. So 10 power 3 power rises, and so divided by root 3 into kVB. So the base voltage is already in the terms of your kilovolt, so that you can directly substitute over here. Okay, so this is the formula, we have substituted it, and upon solving, you will be getting the base current value around somewhere around, you'll be getting around 836.7 amps. Okay, so you just imagine how much amount of current is delivered from the source point. Okay, this much amount of current is delivered from the source point, but during the type of load, for example, if we are considering the domestic, our household load, what happens is that you will be allowed to consume somewhere around 15 to 20 amps. So above that, if it's getting out, means your fuse will be breaking out. But just imagine at the source side, how much amount of current is generated over here. So the base current value is around 836.7 amps. So many electrical equipments like circuit breakers and then insulators will be designed to tolerate such a high amount of current. Okay, so I hope now we have got the idea about the base current, and now we'll be moving towards the sequence diagram. So this is your sequence diagram. So as per the given question, we have drawn the sequence diagram. So here your generator will be coming around with the positive sequence section. So this is your positive sequence section, and followed by your negative sequence section. So this is your negative sequence section, and followed by your zero sequence section. So this is your zero sequence section. So what they have particularly asked to find is that they have particularly asked to find about your subtransient current at the generator terminal. So you have to stick on with respect to your IA1. Okay, that's what you have to see through it. With respect to IA1, you have to stick on it. Since they have specifically asked you about the subtransient current at the particular point of the generator terminal. Okay. And coming to the next one, so these Z1, Z2, Z0 are the given values from the problem statement. So the Z1 is around somewhere around J0.25, it's in the problem statement, and then Z2 is around J0.35, it's in the problem statement, and Z0 is around J0.1, it's in the problem statement. So now coming to the EA, okay, so EA they won't be giving out in the problem statement. Okay, so it is you who have to consider about this EA. So the EA you have to consider to be having a flat voltage profile. Okay, so as per that flat voltage profile, what happens, your EA will be 1.0 at an angle of 0 degree. Okay, so that you have to consider. So after these things, these are given in the particular problem statement. So after that, you have to analyze what kind of fault is given in the problem statement. So that they have given out to be, it is a line to ground fault. It is a line to ground fault. Then you have to see for the line to ground fault, what will be your positive sequence current formula. Okay, this formula will be varying for different faults. You have to see through that. Even you can put out a formula sheet and you can write down those values. Okay, it varies from fault to fault. So as per that, your line to ground fault IA1 is having the ratio of EA. Okay, that is the flat voltage profile divided by your all the reactances Z1, Z2, Z0, okay, by these values. So for the EA it is 1.0 per unit, that you can just substitute it, and then you can substitute these values over here. Okay, so you'll be getting your IA1 around 1 by J 0.7. Okay, so that is J 0.35 plus J 0.35, just nothing but 1 by J 0.7. So that you have to reciprocate it. Okay, so the J value will be coming to your numerator with the minus. So now if you are representing in a polar form, it will be 1.43 at an angle of minus 90 degree per unit. So this will be corresponding to your IA1. Now we have found your IA1. Okay, and the next part is that your IA0, IA1 and IA2 will be same in your line to ground fault. Okay, so this is a very simple concept. You can see through it since these sequence impedances are in series with each other. Okay, whereas in case of your other faults like line to line fault, there exists only your positive and negative sequence, but those two will be in parallel. Okay, those two will be in parallel. And in case of your double line to ground fault, what happens, your positive and negative sequence, also your zero sequence, all the three will be in parallel. Okay, but in case of your line to ground fault, all the sequence impedances or the sequence reactances will be in series with each other. So the current flow will be the same throughout the network. So here your IA0, that is your zero sequence and positive sequence, and the negative sequence will be carrying out the same values. Okay, I hope you're clear. So you'll be getting somewhere around the same value as 1.43 at an angle of minus 90 degree. So this is the thing what you have to get from the line to ground fault formula. And the second formula is that about the fault current. So this fault current also varies from the each different type of fault. So over here for the line to ground fault, fault current is 3 times of your positive sequence component, IA1. Okay, it is 3 times of your positive sequence component, IA1. So you have to multiply 3 into your positive sequence component 1.43. So you'll be getting somewhere around 4.29 per unit. You'll be getting 4.29 per unit. You just see through it, the positive, the current delivery is 1.43. Okay, that is the positive sequence component, and the fault is around 4.29. So it is nearly 3 times higher than that of your positive sequence component. So now coming to the actual value of the fault current. So here your IF will be, you have to multiply with respect to your base value. So here the base value is 836.7 amps. Okay, so after multiplying, you will be getting somewhere around 3.6 kiloamps. So just imagine when the network is exposed to a fault, mainly particularly the line to ground fault, the amount of fault current flowing through the particular network is around 3.6 kiloamps. So that much amount of current is flowing. So you just think how much rating the electrical components will be rated for handling this higher current, 3.6 kiloamps, mainly your circuit breakers. So it is the one where first is used for isolating the system. Okay, so the fault current what we have found out is around 3.59 kilo amps. So now moving to the next part. So we have found out your fault current. So that's your first part, what they asked to found. The second part is all about your line to line voltage during the fault condition they have asked. And this is also you can stick on with respect to the line to ground fault formula. So as per the line to ground fault, otherwise this you can itself devise it. These formula you can itself devise it. So how you can devise? So from this particular sequence network, you have to put KVL. Okay, you have to put KVL not to get VA1, VA2, and VA0. Okay, So as per that, your VA1 will be equal to, if you're putting KVL around over here, means you'll be getting around, it is the EA minus of IA1. So the current is flowing outward. Okay, so IA1 into your Z1. And the second for VA2, the negative sequence, it will be minus Z2 IA2. And then for the zero sequence, it will be minus Z0 IA0. Okay. So after that, we know all the values. So EA, you have to, it is a flat voltage profile. So it is 1. So IA1 you have to substitute, and then Z1 you have to substitute. So you'll be getting a value somewhere around 0.643. Okay, 0.643. And after that, your VA2, also you have to put the value of Z2 that we already know. So this IA2 first you have to put. So here IA1, IA2, IA0, everything will be the same. Only your reactances will be varying over here. Okay, so we'll be getting these values. So after this, you have to go through with respect to your symmetrical component matrix equation. So this is your symmetrical component matrix equation. So for, you have to determine the actual values of your VA, VB, and VC. Okay, that you have to determine. So here, from this equation, you have to multiply it. So VA will be getting as VA naught VA1 VA naught VA1 plus VA2, and from this you'll be getting 0. How you'll be getting 0 in the sense, you have to add all the values. You'll be adding all the values. So if you're adding this value and this value, you'll be getting somewhere around minus j 0.643, and here it is plus 0.643. So you'll be ending up at 0 per unit. Okay, and after this, you'll be coming for your VA naught again. And now we have to know about your A parameter. Okay, you have to stick on with your A parameter. So as per the values you know, so your A, you have seen about your symmetrical operator already. So A is equal to 1 at an angle of 120 degree. So if you are representing this in a complex parameter form, it will be getting somewhere around 0.5 plus J 0.866. So you have to know about these values thoroughly. But it is easy and simple to calculate. If you are raising this to the power, that is, if you are raising this to e power 120 degree, and then putting your cos and sine values, so you'll be getting this equation. Okay. So I have dealt with that in your lecture 1 itself of this particular unit. You can just see through it. And then after that, A square is nothing but 1 at an angle of 240 degree. So now this becomes minus 0.5 and then minus j 0.86. So now we have got the values of these A operators, and you know the values of VA0, VA1, VA2, which is previously we have found out. And with this, you have to put it in the formula. Okay, so now your VB becomes VB equal to minus 0.143. So which is nothing but your VA0 plus 0.643 into it is about your A square. So both the thing will be in minus 0.5 minus j 0.866. Okay, and after that it will be minus 0.543, 0.5, I think it is minus j 0.5 into minus 0.5 minus j 0.8. So this becomes plus. Okay, this becomes plus 866. Okay, now we have to solve this, and you will be getting a value for your VB, and it will be around VB equal to so it will be minus 0.215 minus j 0.990 per unit. So this is a VB value. So VA it is 0, VB we have found out. Now moving towards your VC. So for the VC, it will be VA naught, okay, plus A VA1 plus A square VA2 So VA naught is around minus 0.143, and this will be plus VA1. First you write it. So your VA1 is 0.643 into 0.5 minus 0.5 plus J 0.866. Okay, and this will be plus, sorry, not plus, minus 0.5 minus 0.5 minus 0.5 into minus 0.5 minus of J 0.866. So VC will be getting around minus 0.215 plus J 0.99 per unit. So now we have got only your phase voltages. Okay, we have got VA, VB, and then VC. So, but and the question they have asked to find your line-to-line voltage. So it's a very simple task. You have to subtract with your phase voltages. So for the line-to-line voltage, first one it will be VAB, will be VA minus VB. So that is nothing but 0 minus of VB value, so which is nothing but 0.215 plus J 0.990. So if you're converting this into a polar form, you'll be getting 1.01 at an angle of 77.7 degree in per unit you'll be getting. So this is your VAB. So in order to get your actual value, you have to multiply this with the parameter of the base voltage. Okay, so if you're multiplying it, what you'll be getting is, it will be so this is in terms of per unit. So for the actual value, you'll be getting VAB equal to VAB per unit into your V base value divided by this. Also it will be, sorry, this won't be in per unit, this will be in per unit, into your root 3. Okay, so now this becomes 1.01 at an into, we have tried this 13.8, okay, 13.8 by root 3. Okay, here at an angle of 77.7 degree. So always you have to bring this polar angle towards your end. Okay, so you'll be getting VAB somewhere around 8.05 at an angle of the same angle 77.7 degree in kilovolt. So we are speaking this in kilovolt. So now we have found out your VAB, that is one of your line voltage, and next we will be moving towards your VBC per unit, so which is equal to VB minus VC. So if you are subtracting both these values, you will be getting around minus J 1.980. So this is the value you will be getting, and if you are expressing this in the polar form, it will be 1.980 at an angle of minus 90 degrees. So this will be in per unit. So now you have to get your actual value. So VBC equal to VBC into VB, so which is the base value, into root 3. So this will be equal to 1.980 into 13.8 by root 3. So at an angle of minus 90 degree. And this value will be around 15.78 at an angle of minus 90 degree. So this will be in kilovolt. Okay, so this is for your VBC, and then VCA. So So it will be VC minus VA. So this will be equal to minus 0.215 plus J 0.99. So converting this into a polar form, it will be 1.01 at an angle of 102.3 degree per unit. So changing this to actual value, it will be VCA into VB by root 3. So I'll be getting 1.01 into 13.8 by root 3 at an angle of 102.3. Okay, so I'll be getting value around 8.05 at an angle of 102.3 kilovolt. So now we have found your line to line voltages that are your actual line to line voltages. So there you can see the base was 13.8 volt, but in the two of your line voltages, your voltage has been decreased from the base value. Why in the sense means your fault has been occurred and the current will be drastically increased. Okay, so for that purpose, there will be a very huge voltage drop, okay, during this fault condition. Okay, so I hope with this, this is the problem that you have to see through. So with this problem, I'll be stopping it for today's lecture. Okay, and